The Beast of Senegal, the warrior who traded his soul to darkness for eternal protection. Greetings, fellow seekers of ancient wisdom and forgotten tales. Welcome to Tales Labyrinth, where we journey through the most profound legends ever told by humanity. Today, we present a haunting story from the heart of Africa, the Beast of Senegal, the warrior who traded his soul to darkness for eternal protection. Before we begin this extraordinary tale, please support our channel by liking this video, subscribing, and activating notifications to never miss our legendary stories. Stay with us until the very end to discover the ultimate price of protection and the curse that binds a soul forever. First, the warrior's burden, the threat that shadowed the village. In ancient times, when the great empires of West Africa flourished under endless skies, there existed a prosperous village nestled between the Senegal River and vast savannas. The settlement was home to the Wolof people who built impressive circular dwellings from sun-baked clay bricks, their conical thatched roofs rising toward the heavens like prayers. Among them lived Mamadou, a warrior of unmatched skill whose muscular frame bore countless scars from defending his people against raiders, wild beasts, and supernatural threats alike. He wore traditional warrior garments of hand-woven cotton dyed with indigo, leather armbands adorned with cowrie shells, and carried a spear forged by master craftsmen. The village thrived under the protection of brave men like Mamadou, their days filled with farming millet and sorghum, their nights illuminated by communal fires and storytelling. But darkness gathered on the horizon, as whispers spread of an ancient evil awakening in the forbidden forest, a malevolent spirit that devoured entire communities without mercy. The village elders, distinguished men wearing elaborate boo-boo robes and carrying wooden staffs carved with ancestral symbols, convened emergency councils to address the approaching catastrophe threatening everything. Second, the dark bargain, when desperation meets ancient evil. As weeks passed, the evil drew closer with each setting sun, and villagers began disappearing during moonless nights, their screams echoing across the darkened landscape eerily. Mamadou watched helplessly as fear consumed his people. Mothers clutched their children tighter, farmers abandoned fields, and even the bravest warriors trembled at the unknown horror. The village spiritual leader, an ancient griot named Kumba, who wore elaborate beaded necklaces and carried mystical amulets, revealed the only solution through divination with sacred cowrie shells. Deep within the forbidden forest stood an altar to forgotten gods, entities that existed before human memory, beings of immense power who demanded terrible prices for assistance. Mamadou made his decision during a council meeting under the massive baobab tree where generations had gathered, his voice steady despite knowing the implications of action. Against the desperate protests of his beloved wife Awa, who wore traditional gold jewelry and colorful wraps, Mamadou prepared for the journey into supernatural darkness alone. He carried only his spear, a clay vessel of palm wine for offerings, and ceremonial chalk to mark protective symbols, walking toward destiny as drums echoed farewell. Third, the transformation, from man to beast, under cursed moon. The forbidden forest was unlike any natural place, with twisted trees bearing thorns instead of leaves and soil that seemed to absorb light itself completely. Strange whispers in forgotten languages filled the thick, humid air, and shadows moved independently of their sources, watching the warriors' progress with malevolent, invisible intelligence. After 3 days of walking through increasingly supernatural terrain, Mamadou reached the ancient altar, a massive stone structure covered in indecipherable carvings that predated human civilization. Before the altar materialized a being of pure darkness, neither fully present nor absent, its voice resonating from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously like thunder underground. The entity spoke of the bargain available: unlimited power to protect the village eternally, transformation into an immortal guardian beast that no evil could overcome or destroy. but the price demanded was absolute. Mamadou's human soul, his ability to love, to feel joy, to ever again know peace or the warmth of companionship. He would become a creature of instinct and duty alone, forever bound to guard the village's perimeter, unable to enter, unable to rest, unable to die. Fourth, the eternal vigil, guardian beast of the sacred village. Mamadou accepted without hesitation, pouring the palm wine upon the altar as the darkness consumed him, his body convulsing as the transformation began under blood-red moon. His screams of agony echoed for miles as bones cracked and reformed, his skin hardening into scales while maintaining patches of human flesh, creating a horrifying hybrid. His face elongated into something between man and beast, retaining human eyes that now glowed with supernatural amber light, windows to a soul trapped in monstrous form. Massive claws erupted from his fingers, his muscles swelled to inhuman proportions, and a ridge of sharp spines grew along his spine, making him terrible to behold. The creature that was once Mamadou returned to the village boundary that very night, and the evil that threatened the people fled immediately before this new guardian. From that moment forward, the beast patrolled endlessly, circling the village perimeter without pause, his supernatural senses detecting any threat from miles away in all directions. Villagers glimpsed him only in moonlight, a massive shadowy figure moving with preternatural grace, sometimes standing upright like a man, sometimes running on all fours like predators. Fifth, legacy of darkness, the legend that never dies. Awa searched for her transformed husband every night, standing at the village edge calling his name with tears streaming down her beautiful face continuously without answer. Sometimes the beast would approach the boundary but could never cross, bound by the curse's terms, and she would see recognition flicker in those glowing eyes. The village elders declared that Mamadou had not died, but transcended into something between mortal and spirit, a sacrifice that would protect countless generations of descendants. Years became decades, then centuries passed, and the village grew into a thriving town, but the beast guardian never aged, never rested, never stopped his vigil. Children born in the settlement grew hearing tales of their legendary protector, the warrior who loved so deeply that he surrendered his very humanity for others. Artists carved his image into ceremonial masks and painted his story on pottery, ensuring that every generation would remember the ultimate sacrifice and its terrible permanent consequences. Even today, in modern Senegal, elders in certain regions speak of mysterious protections around specific locations and strange sightings of impossible creatures guarding invisible boundaries at night. And so we conclude this profound tale of sacrifice that transcends time and culture. Mamadou's story challenges us to contemplate the nature of heroism, the weight of duty, and whether any cause justifies losing one's essential humanity. His legend reminds us that the greatest protectors often pay prices we cannot fathom. The Beast of Senegal represents the eternal guardian archetype found in cultures worldwide, yet Africa's telling carries unique spiritual depth about the relationship between community, individual sacrifice, and ancestral duty. If this legend moved you, please honor Mamadou's eternal vigil by pressing the like button and sharing this video with others who appreciate profound storytelling. Subscribe to Tales Labyrinth and activate notifications to continue exploring humanity's most captivating myths and legends. Comment below, would you make the same sacrifice Mamadou made? What does true protection require? Join our community of legend seekers, and we'll see you in the next extraordinary tale.